Well, greetings students, good to be with you. Today we're going to open up Esprit and take a little bit of time to show you some of the toolbars. So this basically is a short video on use of toolbars in Esprit. So we're going to begin by opening up Esprit icon here at the top of your desktop. So I'll double click on that and Esprit will open up. And this is Esprit 2024. And we'll hit OK here and open this up. And normally what I do when I open this up is come over here to the features toolbar or features drop down window and the key, and I try to move this over to the left a little bit so I have a little more space here to do my drawings. Now you'll notice here that we have File, Edit, View, Create, Machining, Analysis, Tools, Window, and Help. Help files, I just want to start with that, are very important. You can double click on Help files and go into Esprit Help, and you will see a window like this, which will have all kinds of things over here, all kinds of subjects. If you wish to do a search, you can go up here and you can put in anything you want. Solid turn is there, and then you hit list the topics and you'll see that there's like turn facing here. Double click on that and it'll show you all the different things that it can do with that subject. Turn contouring, same thing. Solid turn machine, it'll show you general and assembly and NC output. General will show you how to draw something here for turning, and we'll get into all this of course later, but this is your help files, and I think it's important to know where that is, and all you really need to put in there is what you want to find and see what's available. It won't always work, but I think if you put the right word in there, it'll help you find the subject and then do some research on it. So I'll get out of that. So up here you have File, Edit, View, as I said before, and the first one here is File. And when you click on File, you have New and Open. So if you hit New, I'll just do that right now, it starts a whole new page. So if you've made some mistakes on the one you did and you don't want to go back and fix the stuff, you can simply hit New here and create whatever you want to create. Fix whatever you want or redo whatever you made a mistake on. And then also here you have Save As and Save. Save is going to become important when you start a drawing. You want to make sure that you save it often in case something happens, the lights go out, electric goes out, something happens with Esprit. I can't stress that enough. Like every few minutes you should be hitting save once you have given a name. Now there's no name on this, so the first thing I have to do is say Save As, and then it gives you a window here, and then you can go into your files, which would be Students 2025. I have it on a stick, so I'll open up this on a stick. And 2025 Students, CNC 1, you can open up things here. So let's just say you were working on bolt circles, and you open that up and you pick up one of these bolt circles and open it up, and you can say after you've opened it up you can go ahead and do whatever you have to do with it, and then you can save it. So whatever you do here on this page, make sure that you save it where you want to save it. My recommendation when you went over my first video, which was computer navigation, I showed you how to save your files, so that's what you want to do here. So after the file save and save as, I don't use autosave, I just use save or save as here. You can set up a page for printing here, and you can print here as long as you are hooked up to a printer. Now of course your school computers are not set up to the printer, so you won't be able to print anything there. However, if you're doing it at home and you have a printer there, you can always hook it up and get your printer set up at home to print anything you have. All right, so that's enough for this. Down here it shows you things that you've already opened. So this is like a quickie area to open up something that you had opened previously, and you can open it up and then continue working on it. That's just a feature that Esprit offers. All right, under Edit, Edit is copy, and you can paste things, okay? Copy and paste. So if I had, if I wanted to take a feature of geometry and I want to make something, like say make a circle, and I can pick this and say copy, and I can come over here and say translate, and I can click on this little circle here and I can tell it to translate, let's say 6 inches, and I'm going to say copy it, not move. Hit OK, and then you see that I have just translated that 6 inches from this one. So that's one of the things you can do with that. Copy and paste is very good. You can also delete things. So if I wanted to grab this right here and I wanted to delete it, I could come down here and delete this like that. So that's something that you can do. But you also can delete it another way too. You can simply left click on your mouse, capture something, and you can hit delete on your keyboard and it'll delete as well. Then if you want to go back, you can hit undo up here. So I hit undo twice and now I got my 2 circles back. So you can use the undo up here if you, by mistake, you deleted something you didn't want to. All right, so the other things here I don't really use much. We can look at that a little later on in our studies, but I think pretty much select all. So if I want to select everything on my screen, I can just hit select all, and then I can copy it, delete it, or whatever I want to do. If I click off of it in here, it'll shut it off. So that's some things you can do with that. All right, so View. View has properties in it, Project Manager, toolbars, status bar. If I uncheck these, I will lose the things up here that I need. So these things are automatically turned on when you open up a new file. You can also modify here. You can say modify to fit something. So if I wanted to fit everything right here on this page, I could hit fit and it brings it up, okay? So that's another thing you can do, but then you have that up here as well. So you have some icons here that would do the same thing. Say I wanted to zoom previous, it'll go back where it was, and I can use zoom to fit right up here and open it up to a fit. If I go down to here and I want to click on dynamic, and what I can do here is I can move my mouse up and down. I can bring it down, make it small, make it big, whatever I want to do there. All right, enough said for that. Under Create, I have some things already checked off here. Default attributes, unbounded geometry, bounded geometry. These are all the things that I already have checked off, which are active down here. These are our toolbars. This one, this one, this one, this one, these 2 over here, and the 2 down at the bottom, which are usually the ones that we'll be using most. Now, this can be customized. If you go to Tools and you come down here to Customize, you'll see here that those same items that I looked at up there are checked off here. Now, if I want more of these, I can simply check it off and new toolbars will appear. Normally what we use here is Advanced Simulation, which is this up here, right up here. We use Bounded Geometry, which is over here. This is Bounded Geometry, and we'll discuss how that's used. You can do Create Features, which is this one over here. That's what we use for programming purposes. Dimensions, or dimensioning here, Edit, edit features, emerge, which I don't use very often. And then there is layers and planes, menu bar, simulation, solid modeler, which is up here for making solids. And we'll be learning how to do that. And standard, which is basically the standard up here. And unbounded geometry, which is down here, right in this area. And view. So that's where you can customize. If you want to customize something, you can come here and you can check one of these off or several of them off, and your toolbars will appear. All right, so as you saw here in the output window, in this Alt-Enter, Properties, Project Manager. Your Project Manager is this right over here. Your properties are down here, and your status bar, of course, is up here. So that'll be what we'll need to cover there. And then we have Create. So Create, default attributes, unbounded geometry, bounded geometry. So you can go up here and check this off, and then it'll show up down there on your toolbars. Solid modeler, these are all already active. If there's a check mark by it, they're already active. Then you have machining. This is the part where you'll be doing the machining operations, and are giving you quite a few here. Common machining will get your setup made here. You have quite a bit of things that we'll be talking about for machine setup, work coordinates, and so on and so forth. Milling tools, you have face mill, end mill, bull nose end mill, ball end mill, and so on, thread mill. This is where you create your own tools. All right, and then you have the turning tools next, and these are all the turning tools that you'll be using for turning. Then you have solid mill traditional, which is going to have a facing, a pocketing, contouring, rest machining, drilling, spiraling, and so on. And then production, if you want to do like production machining, solid mill production, you will use these icons here. Freeform is like your 3D stuff, so we'll be looking at that in the future in CNC 2, and a solid mold, I should say, for like machining molds. But we probably won't be able to get that in this course and in the future courses, because we're teaching both Master-CAM and Esprit-CAM this year. All right, so you can see the rest of these down here. You can look at them specifically if you wish, but that is all under machining. Analysis, you can check the curvature of things. You can look these up in your help files. I don't use these at all. And then for tools, you have programs, system unit. Programming is you have the NC editor, which will help you to look at your CNC code output. And security manager is if there's something going on with your security of Esprit, this is the security manager, and helps you to fix anything there. But you should never go there, because that's something that I do. And then you have a calculator here as well. So you can click on calculator, and your calculator will come up here, and you can do some things here with the calculator. Tools, as we showed you before, you have the programs. Again, you have add-ins. You have macros, which we won't be using. You have customize. You have options. If you go to options, that's one we use a good bit. In the options, you have attributes, input, advanced, machining, workplace, and file locations. You should not really be doing anything with this, because this has already been set for you. So there's no need for you to get back in there and do anything in there. I want you to leave the colors the same as you have, so that everybody is working on the same page. And you have commands here. You have a bunch of different commands. Again, these are things that we've already looked at. You have the solid modeler, which you see at the top up here. It has all these icons there for solid modeler. Solid mill turn shows you all the ones that are available. Solid mill turn mold shows you all the available options there. And we will only use that from time to time. Under Window, you have New Window, you have Cascade, you have Tile, Attribute or Arrange icons. Don't really use that too much, but again, you have your help files here if you need to look for anything that you need help with. All right, so let's look at the individual toolbars. Here's one right here called Standard. Standard, we have New, we have Open, we have Save, we have Print, and we have Copy. So you can drag these by simply left-clicking on it, right on these double bars here. You can bring it out. Here we have redraw, so if you need to redraw something to try to bring everything back, you can hit redraw. Here is zoom to fit, and as we talked about this a few minutes ago, and there's one we didn't talk about, which was the rotate view. If you activate this, I can rotate my screen, okay, like this, by holding my left mouse button down, okay. If I want to get everything back, I've got to come over here to View Planes and make sure I say Top, and it'll bring it back. This one here is Pan View, so that means you left click and you can pan this around wherever you want to. So that's what that's for. You have View Shaded Wire, you have View Shaded, you have View Shaded, View as Hidden Frame, and lastly View as Wireframe. When you create solids, you'll be using this right here, View Shaded Wire. And even when we do wire programming, we'll be using this also so we can see where our stock is before we machine it. So these two are what we use for creating stock, and I'll show you more of that as we progress in this. Wireframe is just going to show you the wireframe, and some of it's going to be hidden, so you'll see differences when you click between these two here when you have a wireframe drawing. All right, we'll park that back up here. The next thing we have is our edit. So we really don't need to use this much, but you can click this down and you can see that it has different options here of things that you can edit. And you have we have undo here, as I said. You have grouping properties, you have that one there, but we'll be using different methods for grouping things. And then you have this one here, which is layers and planes. This is where your layers are actually started. You can click on that and you'll see that there's only one layer on my drawing here, and that's called default, and that is the default. When you open up a blank drawing here, a blank drawing screen, it's always going to be default. All right, and then you have your views. You have isometric views, so that's going to show me the isometric of what I did. I have front, I have left and right and bottom and back. Okay, so we have all of those. If you want to get it back, you can simply hit top, it'll bring it back to the top. If you want an isometric view of this, you can simply do this and hit fit, and then it will zoom to fit, and it will zoom in and fit everything. So that's what we use here of our view. Then of course you have solid modeler here, which has extrude, revolve, create a constant fillet, and edit the fillet, and so on. We're not going to use we'll be using this, but I will show you all this right at this point because we have to learn these as we progress. You have simulation parameters here. I bring this down, you see advanced simulation, where you can see a chuck if you have a lathe operation, where you can see a fixture, where you can see the actual whole machine itself. However, we don't use that. And you have the head turret visibility on a machining center, and you have target visibility, and you have stock visibility. If you want to see the stock as it's being machined, this would be active. Anytime you see something that is indented like this is when it is active. And then I have edit features. So let's say I put a a chain on something and I want to reverse it, I would use this reverse chain. I can use this to insert a point, or I can hit this one and remove a P-top, which is a point for like a drilling operation, right? If you're doing wire EDM, you could be using these two here, adding match lines and removing match lines. We won't be doing anything in wire EDM this year, however. All right, and over here you have what's called create features. This is what we will use. These icons will be used to create features for machining operations. And we can use the single manual chain or an auto chain or P-tops for doing drilling. And if we're going to do solids, we're going to be wanting to use the legacy hole recognition, pocket recognition, and so on. I'll park this over here. You simply just have to left click and hold it and then drag it where you want it. Down here at the bottom you have unbounded geometry, so if you hit line here it's going to be an infinite line. I'll go to top view here. If I hit this line icon here and I want to put a point here, I can just click anywhere and I can say 90 degrees point and it'll come in and it's an infinite line. I can do whatever I want here for doing infinite lines. I'll hit undo twice here then, and then if I want a line based on 2 points, I would use this right here, and I would pick a point. Let's say this point right here. I'll hover over that, left click, and then come over here and hover over that, left click, and it puts me a line there that is the exact center to center distance. Also, in this particular case, you might want to say, well, you know, what is the length of that? So we would use the distance down here. Okay, like right here says dimension, distance. I could click right here, and it would give me the distance of 6 inches. So I'll say undo there, and the rest of this is doing circles. So if I click a circle, I can just simply pick a spot here and drag it out. I can put what the circle is supposed to be. I can do it on the circle 2, which will have 2 points, and then it will create a circle based upon 2 points, 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and it creates a circle with 3 points. We have ellipse 1, ellipse 3, we have chamfer, we have keep, and trim. And we'll learn how to use these as we progress in doing our drafting portion, which will be very soon in class. All right, so that's pretty much all I'm going to cover today. I hope this has been of some help to you to find out where these toolbars are and a little bit about using them. We'll talk more about this next time. Have a good day.